everyone, it's Marisa from bumblebeeapothecary.com, and today I'm going to bring you along in another vlog style video. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the things that we are currently doing for liver support. So right now we are focusing on some liver support. So in general, just the way that we eat and our lifestyle tends toward liver support in general. But some of us, my daughter in particular, was showing some signs of needing some extra liver support. So we are focusing on liver support for her and then other family members to a bit of a lesser degree as well. So I wanted to walk through, just because this is such a popular common thing that comes up that a lot of people know they need to do or they want to kind of learn more about. And so again, this is not medical advice or anything. It's just sharing what we are doing based on what we've learned from Dr. Natasha and her GAPS books and my training as a certified GAPS coach and our practitioners, our certified GAPS practitioners advice, all of that. So I just want to kind of share it with you and just show what we're doing, because a lot of people were requesting this and it is such an important topic in today's world. Liver support is just more important than ever. So let's go ahead and jump in, and I'm going to kind of just talk about what we're doing. So we are doing a few things first thing in the morning before food. So one of the things that we're doing is juicing and making GAPS milkshakes. So if you have Dr. Natasha's new blue GAPS book, Gut and Physiology Syndrome, she has the GAPS milkshake recipe on page 80 of that book. And she shares that recipe because she says that GAPS milkshakes are a very important tool for decongesting the liver and the gallbladder and just getting those working better. So she talks in her book about some signs that can show you that you're having a congested liver or gallbladder, and I won't go into a bunch of detail here, but if you're interested, I can in another video. But also you can check out her books where she talks about that in depth. But that's what we're starting the day with. We are very first, we're having some lemon juice in water. So half of this lemon is going into the GAPS milkshake and the other half is just going to be juiced in some room temperature filtered water, and we're going to drink that first thing just to start the day. And then a little while later we're going to have the GAPS milkshake. So the juice that we're using for the milkshake is a few carrots, just a small little wedge of beet. She says to be very careful with beet because it can be very powerful for detox. So just do a little wedge, and then we have a couple celery stalks and an apple, and then that half of a lemon. So we're just juicing all of that in our juicer. I like to go ahead and just wash my juicer immediately after using it. It's just a lot easier and faster. I just rinse it all off, scrub it all off, and set it in the dish drainer. Even on a busy morning when we're trying to be quick and get people out the door who need to go somewhere, I'd find it's worth it to just take a couple minutes and just do it. Just wash it all up now, because if it sits, then it's a lot harder to clean. So I kind of do that and put it away as I'm going. And then I pour the juice into a quart mason jar, and then I add a few things to it. So I add a raw egg. We add the yolk and the white. Dr. Natasha says to add both for this. And then also some cultured cream. So I'll just either culture cream and use that, or like I'm doing today, I'm straining some kefir and using the cream from the top of that. So I add that to the GAPS milkshake. And then I use my immersion blender to just whiz everything up really well. And then it is ready to enjoy. So I have these little tiny mason jars. I think they're like 4 ounces. And we like to pour it into those. It's a really good amount for the kids to start with. And then if they want more, they can have more. So they enjoy that. So they drink the GAPS milkshake. And then she's also having some beet kvass as well. So she usually will, like I said, start the day with the lemon juice, fresh squeezed lemon juice in filtered water. Then after a little bit, she'll have her GAPS milkshake and drink that. And then after the GAPS milkshake, just a short while later, then she'll have the beet kvass. Another thing that is really, really important for liver support is making sure that you're having enough fat, enough animal fat. Dr. Natasha says that's super important because the liver and gallbladder need fat to trigger the liver to produce more bile, which gets the bile flowing, which helps the liver in its detox efforts, which helps digestion work better. So including plenty of animal fat is very, very important for supporting the liver. So we have a goal of a half a cup per day for adults. For kids, it's not always that much. Sometimes it is. I kind of let them listen to their body a bit more, but encourage plenty of animal fat. And also, don't mind what I have on my head. I just have wet hair from getting out of the shower, so I still have my hair wrapped up, but that's how it goes in the morning. Speaking of how things go in the morning, I wanted to talk about this whole thing about making this extra stuff happen. Like when we know that we need to do some extra support for our bodies, and I know that this can happen to a lot of people, so I'm just like you guys. When I realized that she needed extra liver support, at first my thought was, oh, I don't have time for that. How am I going to fit that? Our mornings are kind of busy already, and like, how am I going to fit another extra thing in? But the thing is, when it's important, you make it happen. You figure out a way to make it happen. For me, it was going to bed earlier, waking up earlier, just getting a little bit of extra time added to my morning so that I could make it happen, because it's so important to do these things for ourselves and for our families, and just to make sure that, you know, these very important supports are happening when people need them. So just wanted to share that kind of real life perspective about how that can go. Another thing that we're doing for liver support is focusing on some herbs that are very important. So there's a couple different ways that we do this. We like herbal digestive bitters at the beginning of meals, and then also this blend. So you can do these herbs in either like a tea or a tincture, either way. So we are focusing on things like milk thistle, chunka piedra, dandelion leaf, dandelion root, those kinds of things. So we have a tincture that is a blend of a bunch of those that I'm giving her. And then, of course, daily cod liver oil as well. That is just a thing that always happens no matter what. And then, of course, we're keeping up those fermented foods with every single meal, because as we know, making sure that the gut is as healthy as it can be is very important. So she's having some kefir with breakfast, and then we continue different types of fermented food at the rest of the meals as well. And then I want to also mention another thing that's really important that sometimes it can be easy to forget, but I love using Dr. Natasha's advice that like supports like. So if you're supporting one organ in yourself, she says, eat that organ from a healthy animal. So in this case, it's going to be liver. So we have these little tiny beef liver chunks that we cut up really small and freeze. And so we like to make sure to include liver on a daily basis. So whether that's cooking it up with some onions and bacon, or making pate, or just getting it in with these little liver pills, whatever that looks like, we make sure that we're focusing on getting liver in, especially, you know, just ongoing all the time, but especially when we're wanting to support the liver. So my kids will actually just eat these little frozen bits just on their own. They love them. They gobble them right up and ask for more. I will swallow these, but yeah, that's another really important thing, is to make sure to be including liver. And again, whenever we're having liver, we always make sure to pair it with animal fat. So whether that's lard with beef liver to balance out the vitamin A and vitamin D, or just butter with chicken liver, whatever it is, we always try to make sure that we have plenty of fat with liver, because the fat acts as a catalyst so that our body can actually use all those wonderful nutrients that's in the liver. And then later on in the day, so it's really important to have GAPS milkshakes on an empty stomach, so that's why we do them first thing in the morning. And then another point throughout the day, we'll usually have them again, whether that's in the middle of the afternoon or right before bed, as long as it's been 2 to 2.5 or 3 hours after a meal. So this would be, you know, several hours after dinner. If she does it in the evening, then she'll have some more then. So more GAPS milkshake and more beet kvass. And then another thing that we're doing that's really helpful for liver support is detox baths every night. So for detox baths, we will add a few different things, but the one thing that is very helpful for the liver is Epsom salts, according to Dr. Natasha. So that's what we've been focusing on for the most part. So to treat the bath water, I add a couple things to the water. So I have vitamin C tablets. I also add some bentonite clay, a teaspoon of bentonite clay, and then run the bath water as best I can through the bath ball filter. It's not a fail-proof system. I feel like not all the water always goes through it, so that's why I also add the vitamin C and the bentonite clay as extra insurance. And then we add a little bit of baking soda and then about a cup of Epsom salt and fill the bath with the water. So detox baths are just such a wonderful nighttime routine. They're relaxing for the body, they're supportive of the liver, supportive of the whole body, the digestive system, everything. Helpful for detox, obviously. So they're just a really nice thing. It looks a little funny with the bentonite clay floating around in there, but it's only helpful, so it's all good. My kids love these. They're just a really nice thing to add to the routine, and I try to do them for myself as often as I can as well. And then another thing that we're doing for liver support is castor oil packs. So there are a variety of different ways that you can do these, but I really like Dr. Natasha's method, where you take a handful of castor oil and then you just massage it on the abdomen in a clockwise direction, following the way that the bowel would go, so just massaging it in a kind of a nice clockwise direction. And then we put a towel, a nice cotton towel on top, and then we have this hot water bottle that will fill up with hot water, and then that will go on top of the towel, and then she will take that to bed with her. We'll set everything up with the towel and the hot water bottle on top, and then she will just go to bed with that, and then she'll keep the hot water bottle on as long as she wants, as long as it feels good, and maybe go to sleep that way. Just kind of depends on what she feels like. And that is really, really helpful, Dr. Natasha says, for decongesting the liver and just really helping with detox and liver support. So yeah, that's what we're focusing on for liver supports for her primarily. My other kids to a little bit of a lesser degree, but still for the most part the same thing. I'm not doing heavy liver supports for myself because I'm still nursing my youngest and I don't want to push my liver to do a bunch of detox and expose him to that. But I'm just doing some of the gentler things like beet kvass, detox baths, the herbal digestive bitters, plenty of fat. So yeah, that's what we're focusing on for liver supports. I hope that you found that interesting and helpful. I do really recommend getting Dr. Natasha's new Blue Gaps book, Gut and Physiology Syndrome, if you're interested in learning more about this or like why we're doing this and why it helps. She has so much great information in that book, very, very helpful. So highly recommend that if you're interested. I also coach people through this in my comprehensive coaching package. There's information about that down in the description box if you're interested in working with me. And I also have a membership where we talk about this quite a bit. There's information about that down below as well. And then be sure and check out that description box not only for information about my coaching package and membership, but also free ebooks and other goodies. I have GAPS meal plans and some other new meal plans that I'm really excited about down below. So be sure and check those out. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with anybody else who you think would find it interesting. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I get out new videos every week on nourishing recipes and natural living. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.